Good evening everyone, welcome to our latest flight, which is taking us down from up in Scotland, Glasgow, to Bristol this evening. Should be shortish flight, about an hour's flight time, so let's get in the cockpit and start setting up. So I've already been in and we've got external power on at the moment. Turn the batteries on and fuel pumps, nav lights on as well. And let's get passengers boarding, shall we? So, ground services. And we'll get the jetway connected.
Glasgow ground A320, could you please connect the jetway to the aircraft?
A320, the jetway is going to be connected.
And that should get this door open here, and we'll get some baggage online as well.
Glasgow ground A320, could you please send the baggage?
A320 baggage is on the way.
So that's the baggage and the jetway connected. Let's start the loading process and get the passengers on board.
Cabin crew, we're happy to get going now, so as soon as you're ready you can open the doors and start letting the passengers on board.
Okay, no problem.
Alright, let's get the ADs aligned. That takes about 7 or 8 minutes. And with that, let's start punching in some details into the McDo. So we've already got our from to set. Cost index for today's flight is 8, typically 8 for EasyJet. Cruise altitude today, we're going to fly at an altitude of 290, and that's our flight number for today is 2408, and the alternate is Luton, Echo Golf Golf Whiskey, Echo Golf Golf Whiskey, not in the database, are you sure? That's better. Got worried then. Where'd Luton disappeared to? Okay, so with that, let's just have a quick look at the flight plan. Let's contact ground and get our clearance to Bristol. We're expecting a Lust 1 Alpha departure route, so we'll go ahead and contact them and see if that is still going to be valid. So we need the tower, which is 118.8. Glasgow Tower, good evening. Easy 71 Juliet Quebec is a type A320 Neo, requesting IFR clearance to Bristol as filed, and current information is November. Oh, that's interesting. For some reason, why have we not yet got power to the radios? That's unusual. Let's try turning them on and off again. I've not had that issue before. Okay, what we might do is just log out of VATSIM and log back in again. See what's happening. See what's happening there. Can't see any other reason why we've not got power. No, it must be a VATSIM issue. So let's disconnect from there. And we'll just try closing that down and logging in again. How strange. Never mind. We've still got at least 7 minutes till the ADS is aligned. I also need to set the weight and fuel for the aircraft as well. So, let's try connecting again. Oh, hang on, I know why. It's because we're on radio 2 for the ground. Oh, silly me. There we are. Right. Should we try that again? It is 118 decimal 8 for the tower. There we go. Glasgow Tower, good evening. Easy 71 Juliet Quebec is a type A320 Neo requesting IFR clearance to Bristol as filed, and we have information November.
EGPF-1 Juliet Quebec, Glasgow Tower, hello, flight plan invalid, recalled via the Novo 1 hotel departure.
Would we file via Novo 1 hotel departure? Thank you. Easy 71 Juliet Quebec. So that means, since the flight plan was created, more than likely what has happened is that the weather's changed and we're now on a different runway. So I'll just double check that. Runway you saw? No, it's still the same runway. Right, okie dokies. So I just need to nip into SimBrief here and edit that. Let's have a look. So we can take Nobo 1 UT56 down to Dean Cross, and then to Southwark, direct to Knockin and November 826. So that's fine. What that actually means is we're now going to have to go and edit our flight plan, and we shall do that manually. At Glasgow Tower, Easy 7 Juliet Quebec, we can take the new routing that you've just passed over to us. Is it possible you to file that for us?
EGPF-1 Juliet Quebec, I'm just edited your route for you.
Thank you. Okay, so we're departing still on runway 23. That saves us a job. And the Noble 1 hotel departure route. Insert that.
Hello, Tower Cargo 1 Delta Foxtrot. The cargo ready for push and start.
Cargo 1 Delta Foxtrot, stand 6-4 push and start approved.
Push and start approved, facing the tip my nose left anyway, Cargo 1 Delta Fox.
Nobo to Dean Cross, Lakey, and that all looks much better. After Dean Cross we're direct Knockin. So what we will do is we will do that manually, because deleting waypoints is always a bit hit and miss in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So after Dean Cross, just need to make a note of that, we'll go direct from Dean Cross to Knockin. Tower Easy 71 Juliet Quebec has got the new route filed in our flight management computer now, thank you.
EGPF-1 Juliet Quebec, Roger, Clips to Bristol, Novo 1 hotel departure, squawk 7015.
Cleared via the Noble 1 hotel departure to Bristol and squawk 7015, Easy 71 Juliet Quebec.
EGPF-1 Juliet Quebec, correct.
Yeah, right, okay. So, with that in mind, let's have a look at our weights for today's flight. Hi Shark Gamer, how are you this evening? Thank you for dropping in. Really, really wish we will get Microsoft Flight Simulator working in kilograms and not pounds. Alright, so quick conversion, our payload is about 33,500 pounds this evening. Oh, there we go. That will do, and we're just in the centre of gravity there, so what I'm going to do is just add, we'll put a bit more of the cargo in the back rather than the forward hold, and that gives us a centre of gravity of 22.3, which is within limits, so that's good. And our fuel for this evening's flight is 4,544 kilograms, which of course we have to convert into pounds, is about 10,000 pounds. So not very much. Uh, 21%? 22, we'll take 22. There we go. Beautiful. So centre of gravity is actually now 22.55. 22.55. So let's go ahead and set in all of the weights for the flight.
Passport 1 Delta Foxtrot ready to taxi.
Takeoff 1 Delta Foxtrot taxi on this point Alpha 1, runway 23 via Alpha.
Alpha 1, 23 Alpha, Passport 1 Delta Foxtrot.
Okay, so let's have a look at the init B page. So our zero fuel weight is 56.2 and centre of gravity is 22.6. And takeoff weight is... oh, that's not accurate. Oh, why have we got a block fuel of 56.2 tons? That's not right. It doesn't even carry that much. So let's change that to 4.7, shall we? Oh, that's better. There we go. So we've got a takeoff weight now of 54.7. And the zero fuel weight isn't correct. Zero fuel weight should be 56.2. Did I click 50.2? That's better. And our takeoff weight is 60.7. Correct. Good, that matches up with the SimBrief flight plan. So, oh Shark, no, if you're getting the Xbox version, you won't. No. To be honest, I don't think I could ever fly on an Xbox. I have an Xbox, but that's purely for FIFA and Grand Theft Auto and things. I don't think I can do a flight simulator on that. Right, so that's the init B setup. And init A setup. Good, let's have a look at the performance. So we're going to do flaps 1 takeoff, and our trim setting is up 1.3. You don't have to enter the trim setting up. Most airlines don't, but I like to do it. And our transition altitude is just seeing that on the ATIS. What is it? The transition altitude is, where have you gone? Runway new transition flight level is 8,000. There we go. And now we've popped that in, we can just get some new V speeds. There we go. With the flaps 1, so that's better. And we'll get the flex temp as well. So we are at Gatwick, get the latest METAR, we're using the full length runway 23, and our takeoff weight will be 60.7 tons, which gives us a flex temp tonight of, bear with me, flex temperature of 66. There we go. Wonderful. Alright, so that's all the takeoff performance details set. That's init A and B set. Our flight plan is all set, and that sounds like the passengers are all loaded. Wonderful. Go ahead and pop the seatbelt signs on the emergency light signs, and we can tell them to disconnect the jetway.
Glasgow ground easy 2408, could you please disconnect the jetway from
We'll
the
get the
aircraft?
APU started as well. So that's the jetway disconnected. Flight director is on, and there's our routing today out of Glasgow. Turn some of the lights on so we can see. There we go. Okay, so let's get the APU started. Oh, that's better. And we'll lock the cockpit door.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. And I'd like to welcome you aboard this EasyJet A320 flight 2408 to Bristol. We expect the flight time to be around 1 hour 25 minutes and we're not anticipating any delays, so we hope to be up in the air to our cruising altitude of 29,000 feet in the next 15 minutes or so. It looks like we're in for a nice calm departure where the wind is concerned, so it should be smooth flying all the way up to our cruising altitude. You should get a nice view as we climb, so make sure you enjoy the view out of the windows. If you're not lucky enough to have a window seat, feel free to ask the person next to you what it looks like and I'm sure they'll oblige. For now though, the ground crew are loading the last of the baggage into the aircraft, so if you could get yourself seated and secured in the meantime, we can make a departure as soon as they're finished. Thank you.
Okay, so we just checked all the doors are closed, and just check our fuel is balanced, which it is. Just waiting for that APU to be available now.
Cabin crew, please arm doors and cross-check. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start our engines because we're going to use reverse thrust to push back, because the tug, I don't find it that intuitive for use on VATSIM. Turn on the APU bleed, and let's begin with engine 1. Now, I've not actually flown out of Gatwick before, so let's have a quick look at the charts. So we're expecting to take Lima Alpha, and all the way, that should take us all the way to the holding point of runway 23, I'm presuming. Lima Golf Alpha, I'm guessing. So we'll just make a quick note of that. Lima Golf Alpha, with our taxiway instructions. Always good to have them pre-prepared. So engine 1 is starting nicely. Let's just get the latest 80s. So, runway use 23. We've got the transition levels. Surface wind is it's quite light. That's okay. And the QNH is 992. So that's set and cross-checked. Starting engine 2. And we'll request push and start now. Tower Easy 71 Juliet Quebec is ready for push and start. Hang on a minute. We're still using radio 2, aren't we? Yeah. Actually, good point. Load that up and disconnect the external power. And we can turn the dome lights down to dim. There we go. Just increase the brightness of that. Tower Easy 71 Juliet Quebec is ready for push and start.
Easy 71 Juliet Quebec, stand 17, push and start approved.
Push and start approved, thank you. Easy 71 Juliet Quebec. Sounds like the air traffic controller's got the TV on in the background. Who could blame him? It's not exactly busy here this evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the crew I ask that you please direct your attention to the monitors as we review the emergency procedures. There are 6 emergency exits on the aircraft. Take a minute to locate the one closest to you and note that it may be behind you. Count the number of rows to the exit. Should the cabin experience pressure loss, stay calm and listen.
Revenant, yeah, I will. Let me just get... I'll tell you what we'll do. If you can stick around, we'll get airborne, and I'll show you what exactly how to do that, if that's alright.
If you are traveling with children, make sure you put your own mask on first before helping others.
And because I'll need to put the arrival star in anyway.
Leave your carry-on luggage and items behind.
It is actually very, very easy to do. I just need to get us taxiing and in the air at the moment. So let's turn off the APU bleed, turn on the taxi lights,
Take a moment to review the safety procedures on the card in the pocket in front of you.
and that's all good to go.
We hope you enjoy the flight.
So we'll do a quick flight control check. So trim position is up 1.3. So full left, full right, neutral, full up, full down, neutral. Check the rudders as well. Excellent. Okay, let's get out of taxi clearance. Easy 71 Juliet Quebec, ready for taxi.
EG7 to the Quebec taxi, holding point Bravo 1, runway 23 via Golf Alpha.
Taxi holding point Bravo 1 via Golf Alpha, Easy 71 Juliet Quebec. Okay, as I said, I've never flown from here before, so where on earth are we going? That will be to the end of here, turn right, get to the end of there, turn left, and it's Bravo 1. Okay. If you're wondering how I know where I'm going, I've got the Navigraph charts on the iPad next to me. Very, very useful. I would not recommend flying on VATSIM without them. So whilst we're making this taxi, we can configure the aircraft for takeoff, starting with flaps 1 and on the spoilers. So we're down here, and we're going to crash into this fuel truck if he doesn't get out of the way. Should never come to new airports at night time. I should do them in the daytime. So I've never done Glasgow before. So down here. What I have noticed so far about Glasgow is there seems to be a lot of floating orbs around. You can see them in front of us just there, but near the building. So lots of spirits up in Scotland this evening. And I don't mean the drinkable kind. So yeah, once we get airborne, I'll be looking at programming the expected star for Bristol anyway. So I'll show you how we put in the SID and star. So that is... Well, that's actually a runway there, 27, but I guarantee you it's not. It's an abandoned runway. It's now taxiway Charlie. So this is quite accurate. Looking at the chart here, there's this little taxiway which goes off to the left, but on the charts it's filled with X's, so that means you're not allowed to use that.
Easy 71 Juliet Quebec via Bravo 1, runway 23, surface wind 260 degrees, 6 knots, clear for takeoff.
That's an early takeoff clearance. Cleared for takeoff via Bravo 1, runway 23, Easy 71 Juliet Quebec. That's a very early takeoff clearance. I don't think I've ever had one that early before.
Cabin crew, seats for takeoff please.
So we'll get everything ready. This is Bravo 1. Do you know what, actually, I'll get us lined up on the runway before we turn the flight, before we turn the weather radar on and the TCAS. And we still need to set the brakes to max. Little sloped runway there as well, which is nice. Gives us that extra bit of realism. Okay, so TCAS is on. Weather radar is on. And maximum parking brakes. Takeoff config test. All green, no blue. Start the chronometer and let's go. Flex temp takeoff. So man flex, SRS and runway. V1 and rotate.
Positive rate, gear up.
So that's looking good. Retract spoilers or unarm them. And we'll just pitch down slightly as we reduce the flaps.
Easy 71 Juliet Quebec, contact Scottish Control 135.525, right?
135525, thank you, Easy 71 Juliet Quebec. And with that, we're just going to set the climb rate as we engage the autopilot. Right, let me just contact Scottish Control 13552. Takes ages to scroll through this. Scottish Control, good evening, Easy 71 Juliet Quebec out of Glasgow on the Noble 1 hotel departure, passing 3,000 feet.
Good evening, right after 105, go flight level 400 in on schedule. Two stations, Festival Easy 71 Juliet Quebec, Scottish Control, good evening. Squawk ident, climb now, flight level 290.
Squawk ident, will climb flight level 290, Easy 71 Juliet Quebec.
Right after 1 Golf Tango, Scottish Control, good evening. Redirect to Tanbury, Tango Romeo November. Tango Romeo November, right after 1 Golf Tango, good evening.
There we go, so straight up to our cruise altitude, which is nice. Revenity, holding point, not sure I follow you, we've not got a holding point yet. If we do have to hold, then it will be, or if you meant on the ground, sorry, the holding point on the ground was at Bravo 1, but we got a very early takeoff clearance, so yeah, they actually cleared us while we were still on the taxiway for taking off. Clearly no traffic in Glasgow this evening.
SF501, Scottish Control, good evening. Climb flight level 340.
And we can just dim the dome lights now that we're in the air. Turn those down a little bit.
SF501, redirect to Nexus.
There we go.
Cargolux 1 Delta Foxtrot, contact line of control 133.7. Bye-bye.
1237, thanks for Sterling South, Cargolux 1 Delta Fox.
So we're going to standard pressure now.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may now use your electronic devices.
EZ71 Juliet Quebec, redirect Subic.
Direct Subic for Easy 71 Juliet Quebec. So where is that? Let's have a look. So we're going direct. We've not actually got that in the flight plan, so that's a bit of a pain, isn't it? Easy 71 Juliet Quebec, we've not actually got that in the flight computer. It's still on VATSIM 2020. Is it possible to get another routing?
Ah, EZ71 Juliet Quebec, my favourite simulator. Turn left heading 145 then for a shortcut.
Many thanks. Heading 145, Easy 71 Juliet Quebec. In its defence, it looks very pretty. Easy 71 Juliet Quebec.
Oh, it looks pretty, but that's about it, I'm afraid.
We're glad for the shortcut anyway, 71 Quebec. Right, okay, so let's have a little look at this. So, Future Realm, any bugs you're experiencing on flights using the A320? We've got the latest fly-by-wire mod here. There's not really any massive bugs, certainly nothing that you can't find your way around. There are lots of way around them. The biggest bug really is the manage mode climb and descend, which doesn't seem to work below 10,000 feet. However, we're now above 10,000 feet, so if you watch, I'm going to enter manage mode for the climb, and this will now work perfectly well. So don't really have any issues with that. What I have done is I actually do have a video on my channel looking at the specific bugs the A320 does have, and more importantly how to get around them. So check those out.
Sorry,
and I guarantee you'll get back flying again in the A320. It's not difficult. Once you've just got
EC40 Victor Romeo taxi high point Alpha 1.
once you've just got those out of the way. I'll just see if I can find a link and I'll paste that into the chat for you. So Revenant here, let me have a look for you at how to enter the departure SIDS and stars. Well, if you go to the flight plan, what you would do is our departure has obviously gone now as we've left the departure, but what you would do for the destination is we're actually expecting to take the star Bri 1 Alpha. So if I went to our destination here, so we click the destination, then up here click the arrival. We're expecting to arrive on runway 27, ILS 27, and then the list of stars comes up, and as I said, we're looking at Bri 1 Alpha, which is just there, and it's already programmed in, so you would just select that, but I don't need to, as it's already programmed, so I can just erase that. But yeah, so that's pretty straightforward. The same is exactly the same for the standard instrument departures. You click on the departure airport, click on departure, it gives you the runway you're departing from, then comes up the list of SIDs, and you just select the SID that you're after. You can change them during the flight, so if we get down there and suddenly ATC gives us a different star to arrive at, then I will have to go in and change it. And you just do as I just showed you. It's fairly straightforward. Yeah, so the departure, I can't show you entering the SID just because we've left Glasgow, but basically up here where at the bottom it says destination, the top one would be in white, and it would be be a departure airport. You would again click on it, so it would look like this. Instead of it saying arrival, it would say departure, so you'd click on it there, and then here would be a list of runways, so you'd select your runway, and once you selected your departure runway, you would get a list of SIDs to choose from, and then you just select that and click the enter button down here. What about directing to a certain waypoint? Well, we are actually going to do that, I think, in a little bit. Once we get to
Easy 42 Victor Romeo, runway 25, clear takeoff.
Just checking that wasn't for me.
230 degrees, 9 knots.
Yeah, once we get to Dean Cross, just here, we're going to go direct to we're going direct to Knockin down here. So the way to do that will be, I've got to be careful because I don't want to do this just yet. You would press the DIR button, direct, scroll down to the waypoint you want to go direct to, and just click Knockin, and then click over here. It would say confirm.
Hotel, this is flight level 90, right?
So hopefully that's explained that for you. In terms of the Airbus bugs, let me just see if I can get you a link to a video, and I shall show you that. Let's have a look. Here we go. So this is for bugs and how to get around them, more importantly. And if you wanted to know how to do how to program the McDo and go direct to and things, here is another video for you, making sure you get the autopilot to follow your flight plan, which also looks at a couple of little bugs. So check those two videos out, and hopefully all shall be explained. Obviously come back to me and ask any questions on those. Rivinity, final question: what is the holding point in the sky? Right, so your holding point is normally if an airport has got too much traffic going into it, the air traffic controller may request that you hold at a certain waypoint. Each holding point has its own set of rules, and what you would normally be able to do in the real aircraft is you could click on a waypoint. Let's just click Dean Cross here, and you should be able to click the hold and enable button. That doesn't work, however, so you would have to use Navigraph charts if you've got them, which shows you the details of the hold. And you're basically flying around in circles, a little racetrack over a given waypoint. Doesn't happen too much. Not on VATSIM. Doesn't happen in real life
Hotel, contact
too much at the moment.
Edinburgh radar 121.2. Good night.
Edinburgh radar on 121.2. Thanks for service. Bye bye. FX1 Hotel.
Yeah, don't get to hold too much at the moment just because there's not that much air traffic.
The captain has turned off the seatbelt sign, so you are free to move about the cabin.
I think that might be easy calling actually. Can you just call me Charlie for me, please?
Seatbelts at all times when you are seated in case of turbulence. Thank you.
Canon 1326, Scottish Control, good evening, squawk 2723.
Ask as many questions as you wish, mate. That's what I'm here for. I like getting new people flying, particularly in Flight Sim 2020, which did have a few bugs when it first came out. They're slowly getting worked out. What should you use for the squawk code in the A320? That is the squawk code that the air traffic controller gives you right at the start of your flight. So today they told me I had to squawk 7015, and it's just down there, look.
501, request flight level 360. I said 501, climb flight level 360. Thank you.
So the squawk code all depends on...
I said 501, sorry, excuse my pedantism, but climb flight level 360.
all depends on what the air traffic controller tells you to do.
Thank you. If
you're flying VFR in America, you squawk 7000. just because that's the squawk code in America. And here in the UK, I think the squawk's 1200 in the UK.
Easy 71 Juliet Quebec, do you have knock-in your flight plan or in your NEO database?
We do. Flight Sim 2020 is not that bad after all. Easy 71 Juliet Quebec.
Hi, 71 Juliet Quebec, roger. Redirect to knock-in then, please.
Fingers crossed for this to work then. Easy 71 Juliet Quebec. Direct knock-in. So just see we press the direct button there. Click knock-in. We see the yellow line telling us where we're going to go once we press the temporary insert button.
Okay, I'm 1336 flight level 324 at the moment. Just check you've got standard pressure set on 013 hectopascals.
And we enter manage mode to make sure we follow that. There we go. Perfect. Easy 71 Juliet Quebec, just confirming we are direct knock-in now.
Easy 71 Juliet Quebec, thank you.
Is there a certain squawk mode? Once you're in the air, you should squawk mode Charlie. That just tells the air traffic controllers when you're in the air all the details of flight number, altitude, heading, etc., speed. That is more used on VATSIM at the moment, as it's not really simulated in detail yet here in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. But the way to do that is, as you can see, there's an in-op button and things like that, but the way to do that is making sure that this button here is turned all the way to on, and it's these button, is it that button there?
0762,
that we need to make sure it works, but at the moment they don't. So don't worry about that too much unless you're flying on VATSIM. If you're flying on VATSIM, you squawk mode Charlie automatically when you take off, as long as you've got that setting checked in the vPilot software. So we can see actually we're just a little to the left of this. Oh, wind. No problem at all. Any other questions, please do feel free to ask. The whole reason I set up this channel was because I've been flying for years, and when Flight Sim 2020 came out, it brought with it a host of brand new players to players. I don't want to call you players, simmers to the virtual skies, which was fantastic. But of course, Flight Sim 2020 is probably the most detailed flight simulator that we've ever had with default.
Contact London 133.7. Good night.
133.7. Thank you for your help, Easy 71 Juliet Quebec. Just bear with me one moment while I do this. 133.7. Yeah, so yeah, I basically set it up with the idea of trying to help all the brand new players to Microsoft Flight Simulator, because particularly the airliners, okay, they're not as detailed as the big name flyby made by Project Magenta, PDMD, and Aerosoft, etc. But those study level aircraft will come. But for a default aircraft, there's a lot of things to learn.
One Delta Foxtrot, leaving my airspace. On to Unicom 122.8, bye bye.
So let's just contact London Control.
Unicom 128, thanks so much. Sterling, Jump, 9 Box, 1 Delta Foxtrot.
Some music in the background there. London Control, good evening, Easy 71 Juliet Quebec, flight level 290, direct knocking.
Easy 71 Juliet Quebec, London Control, good evening, Bristol 1 Alpha arrival.
Bristol 1 Alpha arrival for Easy 71 Juliet Quebec. That's the star that we expected.
Right, 703, vectoring for Island approach runway 27, turn left heading 085, descend to flight level 70.
Heading 085, descend flight level 70, vector sign approach runway 27, runway 703.
So the Bristol 1 Alpha arrival, all in there. I'll just insert that. That's interesting. Why we're spinning around? Shouldn't be. does this sometimes when you confirm something. Occasionally the autopilot decides, oh, I'm going to refly that bit of the flight. Please don't. We should still be going direct knock-in. So let's pop that back into manage mode and see if it does. No, it's still wanting to turn me to the right. I'll keep that in selected heading mode for now. I'll just try doing this again, direct knock-in. And engage manage mode. See if that works. There we go. So there's another little bug.
Ryanair 703, descent altitude 5,000 feet, QNH 90907 hectopascal.
5,000 feet on to QNH 90907, Ryanair 703.
Okay, so we need to do the approach briefing now and pop some information in the McDo, ready for our arrival in Bristol.
With 5572, taxi holding point Alpha, runway 27 via Victor and Alpha.
Victor Alpha on the holding point 27 with their 5572.
So, QNH at Bristol 1001.
London Control, good evening, UPS 138, climbing flight level 340 to Liverpool.
Temperature is 8 degrees.
EBS 138, London Control, good evening, roger, stand by.
250 at 9
Standing by UPS 138.
is the wind. And let's just get some charts up on my iPad for Bristol. So where are we? Bristol, 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 Bristol. Open the charts list. So the stars of Bristol 1 Alpha arrival for runway 27.
EBS 138, Type Odd 1 Echo arrival.
Can you repeat this?
Yeah, Type Odd 1 Echo arrival.
Correct.
Always nice when the pilot tells an air traffic controller that he's correct. Should be the other way around, I'm sure.
Ryanair 703, descent altitude 3,000 feet.
3,000 feet, Ryanair 703.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the cockpit, just to let you know what we've reached our cruise level of 29,000 feet and we're not anticipating any major delays, so expect to arrive in Bristol on time as planned. As the cabin crew make their way around the aircraft, please make sure the aisles are clear of any items, and I invite you to sit back, relax and enjoy the flight.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to serve our drink selection, including tea, coffee and cold beverages. Please make sure your tray
Oh, that sounds nice.
don't clear any items from the aisle. Thank you.
How many of you out there are drinking a cold beverage of a different kind? Never drink and fly.
We are ready for taxi, Ryanair 567.
Ryanair 567, just confirm, are you facing east or west?
Facing to the west. My apologize. I was instructed to face into the east. Ryanair 567.
Ryanair 567, that's not a problem. Just taxi hold point Alpha 1, runway 27 via Victor and Alpha.
Victor and Alpha to hold it forward. Alpha 1, Ryanair 567. My apologize.
EGS 71 Juliet Quebec, when ready to send flight level 270 by knock-in.
Level 270 by knock-in, easy, 71 Juliet Quebec. Okay, so we will be at knock-in in about 4 minutes, and he wants us to lose 2,000 feet, so if we descend at a rate of 700 feet per minute, that'll get us down there. If anyone else watching has got any other questions, now is the best time to ask, as the workload is rather light at the moment. 23 minutes into the flight, so what we should do every so often is make sure that we're using the right amount of fuel.
Right now 703, turn right heading 120 degrees,
And,
set past 2,000 feet.
We're on schedule.
0 degrees enter 2,000 feet, runway 703.
Shuttle 3, Romeo, leave my airspace shortly, monitor Unicom 122.8, bye-bye.
122.8, shuttle 3, goodbye.
Okay, so we should be knocking at 26 minutes into the flight, which we are going to be, that's fine.
Now we're ready for departure with 557.
Oh, we should have 2.7 kilograms of fuel. Tons of fuel. We're going to have about 3 tons of fuel. As we took that little shortcut, so that's useful.
27, clear takeoff, surface winds 260 degrees, 15 knots.
Clear takeoff on 27 with 557.
Okay, so the weather at Bristol, no clouds detected.
London Control, the Rowing 345, holding point runway 23 right in Manchester. Request clearance for departure.
The Earrings 9345, London Control, good evening, runway 23 right, clear takeoff, surface winds 220 degrees, 9 knots.
So it'll be a Cat 1 arrival, decision at 200 feet.
Earrings 9345.
And that's just been entered there, which you can see on the FMA.
Ryanair 703, turn right heading 200 degrees.
200 degrees, Ryanair 703.
So I'm just going to have a quick look on VATSPI. VATSPI is a desktop computer program which shows you other aircraft, and we do have few arrivals into Bristol this evening, but I think none are going to actually clash with us, so we shouldn't have to hold. We should be able to get straight in there. That's good.
7, Roger, hold position.
Hold position 567.
London, hello, this is Earrings 9394, just overhead Rambo now.
Earrings 93904, London Control, good evening. Are you happy at flight level 340? Do you want to fly to your 380
Hey, my pilot, good to see you again.
4 at the moment, thank you, Earrings 9394.
Hope you've had a good day.
394, not a problem, maintain flight level 340.
We'll continue 340, thank you, Earrings 9394.
We're into Bristol tonight. I'm just having a look at the thing. ATC for Bristol has just gone offline.
Ryanair 703, apologies. Turn right heading 300 degrees to straight runway 27.
Mr. Riff, good evening.
Last runway 27, Ryanair 703.
With 5572, climb flight level 390.
So, with ATC offline for Bristol, it looks like we're going to be making our own approach into that, which is fine.
Earrings 9345, report your passing altitude.
We are passing 2,500.
Earrings 9345, thanks, climb flight level 190.
Just need to check then
Climbing flight level 190, Earrings 9345.
that the charts match up. So we've got Retzi, Amril, Riles, Dobem, Inger. After that we hit the decel point and we should fly over Bristol Airport itself to make a loop to come in and land.
703, established runway 27.
We're probably not going to do that, to be fair.
3, thanks, surface wind 260 degrees, 15 knots, runway 27, clear to land.
27 clear to land, thanks, Ryanair 703.
So if you can see on the navigation display, if I can zoom out far enough, Yeah, so
Running out 567 behind the landing company 737, line up and wait, runway 27 behind.
it would take us right over to Bristol, and then we spin around. What we'll probably do is we'll come out here and then spin around to line up, just to save a little bit of time and a little bit of fuel.
EG71 Juliet, Quebec. You're leaving my airspace shortly, minus Uniform 122.8, bye.
122.8, thanks for your help. Easy 71 Juliet, Quebec. Okay, so we're going to be on our own now.
With a 557 to route direct Mammal and on passing flight level 100 speed.
Okay, so we're now on Unicom. There's no ATC online. Yeah, so what we're going to plan to do is we'll follow the star as far down as Inga. Once we get to Inga, which we can just see on the navigation display, just there. Once we get to Inga, the full published approach tells us to go via the Bristol NDB, which is at the airport, and then head east to come round and land on the runway. But once we get to Inga, instead of doing that, if we just come across here, ATC, if they were there, they would have vectored us around, which will save us a bit of time and fuel. So we'll get to Inga and then we'll come out here. We'll go out probably about heading 150, something like that, to come in and land on runway 27. What we do need to do is be at 1600 feet by AMROL. So we're going to start that descent now because it's only 40 miles away.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the cockpit, you may have noticed we've just begun our descent into Bristol. The latest weather update is showing that the winds have picked up a little bit, but nothing out of the ordinary, so it should be a reasonably smooth approach. We're not expecting much in the way of clouds, so you should have a nice view out of the window all the way down. If you could assist the cabin crew by tidying your tray and handing them any litter as they come around, it would be most appreciated. For safety reasons, please turn off all electronic devices or switch them to airplane mode until after we've landed, and please also note that the aircraft toilets will shortly be out of use. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned on the seatbelt sign. Please fasten your seatbelt as soon as possible. Thank you.
Okay, so we're just going to do a final check, make sure that all the information we've got in the McDo is accurate and correct. So we're looking at runway 27 for the arrival, runway identifier, and the frequency, which is 110.15, 110.15, ILS runway 27, course is 266, so that all looks good. And it's actually got our approach speed, I forgot to check that. It's got our VAP speed of 151, that's a little quick, so we'll probably we'll slow that down to 138. There we go. Lovely, so we're on our way down. So we're direct to Retzi. And we should be on the ground after passing Retzi. We should be on the ground about 18 minutes. 18 minutes from Retzi, so 20 minutes from now then. That's good. Bring up the ground charts for Bristol because I don't know Bristol Airport that well. So I'll land at Bristol and look to take, assuming it's a good landing, no reason why it shouldn't be, but assuming it's a good landing and not a long landing, we'll take taxiway on the right to, which is Foxtrot, and that takes us directly to the terminal. If it is a long landing for whatever reason, we can get down and there's a taxiway right at the very end. It's not a turn around and backtrack, so That's always useful to know. Let's have a quick look outside, shall we? Beautiful. I always find it amazing. Funnily enough, I walked the dog before jumping in the simulator. That is the exact phase of the moon that I saw this evening. Amazing. EasyJet by moonlight. And I'm presuming then that the clouds in the distance are illuminated a little bit more yellow. I reckon that's because there's a city and street lights there. I believe that's what it's meant to be for. So are any of you guys that are watching, are you flying at the moment, or are you having an evening watching some streams? Let me know. I sometimes watch other streams while I'm flying. It's nice to see what other people are doing, where they're going. Keep saying I'm going to take this A320neo across the pond to America. I have done it before. It is doable. The A320neo can do a transatlantic routing, but it literally is west coast to east coast. So sort of from Ireland over to New York, Boston. I think the A321neo can get down as far as Philadelphia as well. And of course they're slowly now going to be bringing out the A321LR. Or is it the LX? Either way, it's the long range version, which is going to be perfect timing, isn't it, in this current climate of air travel, where you can fly large distances but not that many passengers, so you don't actually use a lot of fuel. Okay, we're coming up on 16,000 feet, which is where we wanted to be by Amaral. We need to remain at 16,000 feet by the next waypoint, which is Riles. After that, we shall start our descent. It's a shame that the ATC isn't online for Bristol. It was when we set off, but that's always the way on VATSIM, isn't it? Never mind. So we need to remain at 16,000 feet until Riles. After that we can start our final approach into Bristol. Where are you flying to, Livy? Eh? Where are you going off to? Your first VATSIM yesterday. I bet you was nervous. I know exactly how you feel. I remember that first flight. Heck, I remember the first time I asked for a radio check. Huh. My mouth went dry immediately afterwards. It's just that different, a completely different situation, isn't it? You're actually talking to a real person sat watching you on the scopes. It's you're not in your own little world anymore. I'm in quite a luxury position here that during the day, if I'm working, then I can have the simulator really next to me, and for ages before I went on VATSIM, I just sat and listened. I mean, I had absolutely no problem with the language at all. I've been flying for years, so the language wasn't the problem. But it's still just completely different talking to real live people. Just landed at Amsterdam, fantastic. Did you have any air traffic control there? Are they online tonight, or were you flying offline not on VATSIM? Amsterdam looks great as well in MS2020, if that's the simulator you were on. That's one of the handcrafted airports, isn't it? So 4 miles to go and we'll begin our descent, and you can see now the published approach on the navigation display. We should go all the way down towards Bristol, and then we make sort of like a U-turn 180 arc out from Bristol. But with no ATC on tonight, and even if they were on, they wouldn't make us fly the full published approach. We'll be making a turn probably from Inga. We can start to move out, and then we'll come round and make an ILS approach from there. We'll probably head out about 150 from Inga for that. Yeah, I'll never forget that first flight on VATSIM. Left Manchester, which is my home airport, so I know it inside out, which was nice. So you want to do your first VATSIM flight soon? That is good. Once you've done it, I guarantee you that you will never go back, because it's just not the same flying without realistic air traffic control anymore. Okay, so our intercept altitude is for runway 27. We want to be at 2,500 feet, so we'll get our descent down now to 3,000 feet. So, Niels, have you logged in at VATSIM and had a listen to everything that's going on? Just sit on the taxiway at a busy airport, out of the way somewhere. In fact, I do have somewhere. Let me just find it. If you're wanting to go into try VATSIM, check out these videos, and hopefully they will help you with the next stage and get you ready for talking to the controller for the first time. Yeah, I just sat on the ground for hours at a busy airport listening, just to see how it all worked out, because it's not so, even if you know the language, which as I say I didn't have a problem chatting with air traffic controllers. It was more how everything worked. Hello, where's my green line gone? It disappeared there. That's it, that's exactly right. You've got to get the courage to get on. And in that YouTube link there, it basically tells you how to get on vPilot, but if you're in Flight Sim 2020 or FSX, and just takes you right from listening in to making that first contact, just to ask for a radio check. So, passing 13,000 feet. Yeah, the airport taxiing. So, Niels, you've just landed at Amsterdam.
Bristol traffic, runway Golf Juliet, vacating runway 27, taxi to start. Good up.
That's good, that's the airport that we're going to be landing at. Yeah, so you've just landed at Amsterdam. That's going to be one of the most confusing airports in the world, taxiing-wise. You can end up, depending on which runway you've landed at, I think it can be a 1.5 mile, 2 mile taxi to the terminal. And I have known real world pilots that have got lost there. So there's definitely no shame in that. Definitely need the charts and the diagrams, you're quite right. Just going to increase the rate of descent a little bit now. But we're looking to pass the decel point, which will enter us into the approach phase now. And that's it. So we're in the approach phase, which is good. We've hit the decel point. I'm going to come out of manage mode, and we're going to make a left turn to heading, or turn heading 142. Do-do-do-do. Zoom in a little bit now on the navigation display. Actually, we'll come out a little bit further than that. Ah, Manchester, that's my home airport. Love Manchester Airport. And until I built up the confidence, that was the airport I always flew out of or into. Just because I knew it. Plus Manchester's not got a massive maze of taxiways either, so that's useful. Okay, so I'm going to just use the speed brakes a bit to get us down to our green dot speed, which is there. So we're about 7.5 miles away from Bristol, over there on the right hand side somewhere. I'll just maintain this heading for a little bit, then we'll probably turn heading 090 just to do the downwind leg, turn onto base, and then obviously final. Just checking that we don't have any ATC online. Don't think we do. Nope, so it's up to us on Unicom, which is fine.
Cabin crew, please prepare the cabin for landing.
Okay, so we'll turn heading 095, and we'll turn the landing system on as well. And now we can just check the runway identifier, make sure it's all correct. India Bravo Tango Sierra, India Bravo Tango Sierra, and we're 8 miles. And we need to look at intercepting at 2,500 feet at 8 miles, so we've still got a little bit of height and altitude to lose.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to land. Please make sure you are seated with your belts fastened and your trays in the upright position.
Minimum descent height north of the airfield is 2,200 feet, so we know that we're safe. Altitude wise, there's no obstacles or anything like that. You can see now we've just gone below the glide slope. So now we'll turn on our base leg. Bristol traffic easy 71 Juliet, Quebec is 12 miles out, turning base leg runway 27. Flaps 1.
Bristol traffic, Ryanair 2245, push and start from stand 2.
And we'll make the final turn. Why is the aircraft nosediving? Yeah, come on, keep an eye on that. So let's just turn the autopilot off. had a feeling it was going to do that. I don't know why. I just did. I turned the autopilot back on as we continue our turn, and we've just missed, because of that silly little bug, we've just missed the ILS. That's annoying. Right, how far out are we? We're still 40 miles out, so we can probably make that up. Let's just reduce the airspeed a little bit. So I want to come back to almost final approach speed. Bristol traffic easy 71 Juliet Quebec is on finals runway 27, 13 miles. Flaps 3, and with that we'll turn the approach mode on. Looks a little bit misty out. Localizers alive.
Bristol traffic, Project 134, inbound straight in for ILS 27, 13 nautical miles away, Project 134, Bristol traffic.
Bristol traffic easy 71 Juliet Quebec is established ILS runway 27 at 11 miles. So there's an aircraft behind us. Hopefully you heard that transmission. Just waiting for the glide slope to become active, which I think is just starting to move now. We're a little bit below the capture height. It should have been 2,500 feet, but the aircraft decided to have a little moment where it busted through the altitude we'd selected for it, so always be aware of that. Good old VATSIM 2020 giving us a heartbreak moment. So let's get ourselves fully configured with full flaps and landing gear. And probably about 7 miles down here we should start to capture the glide slope. Clearly some moisture in the air, looking at the reflection from the landing gear.
Cabin crew, please take your seats for landing.
Didn't think that was right. That's better. Forgot to change the altimeter back to local pressure, and I think we can just see the runway starting to come into view now. 5 miles. There's the runway. There are occasions where you do not have to have your landing lights on, just in case it's causing too much glare. However, that's normally when you're doing a full automatic landing approach, and the visibility really is rubbish. Not today though. Glide slope is active, so only 4 miles to go. Easy 71 Juliet Quebec inbound 4 miles.
Object 134's 40 miles, so 10 miles behind.
Roger, thank you.
No worries.
So I'll just reduce the final approach speed to 135, and here we go. This is usually the best bit, or the worst bit, depending on how you look at it. So 1000, we're stable on the approach, slightly above the glide slope. So take the autopilot off. And we're just looking, keep scanning the instruments, making sure we're on the glide slope. The PAPIs are useful, but they become less accurate the closer you get.
Sync rate. Sync rate. Sync rate. Sync rate. 300.
The aircraft has just decided to sink there, which isn't great. However, recovered nicely.
50, 40, 30, 20, retard.
And we did have a little bit of that wing dip, but not too much.
Bristol traffic, Object 134's establishing the local later.
And we can vacate just there.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bristol. The local time is 21:41. Unfortunately, the temperature is currently a very cold 0 degrees Celsius. Or 32
No, it's not.
Fahrenheit,
It's
so
not
if you
that
have
cold, not
jacket
just
or
yet.
coat, you might want to put it on before exiting the aircraft. Please remain seated until the aircraft arrives at the gate. You are reminded to keep all electronic devices switched off until you
Easy
exit the
71
airport
Juliet
terminal.
Quebec is
Thank you
vacated,
for
runway
flying
27 at
EasyJet.
Bristol.
And Bristol traffic, Object 134's fully established for 27. Bristol traffic.
There he is, we can see him coming in. Yeah, so not the greatest landing in the world, that. A couple of things went wrong. The aircraft decided to pitch down, and then we got a slight wing dip. The thing is now, the more you fly in Flight Sim 2020, is you get used to what's going to go wrong. So to be forewarned is to be armed with what's going to happen. As long as you're prepared for it, that's all that matters. Okay, so where are we going? Let's have a look. So we're straight along here at Foxtrot, and once we come out here, we turn right onto Zulu. So we've got the general aviation apron is just there on the left. This should be taxiway Delta on the right. I want to go past that. Then I believe that the main terminal buildings are here on the left at Bristol. Couple of guys on the apron there. Lots of cars. There's another aircraft on the ground in front of us. Oh, we get to watch the nice landing here of the pilot that was behind us. And up we go in here to parking stand number 4, I think it is. Get the APU going.
Bristol traffic, Tom Jet 1 3 balls vacated with you set and Bristol traffic. Have a good day, everyone.
Have a good day. I'm still trying to work out where we're going. I've never done Bristol in the evening before. And that is parking stand. There we go.
Bristol traffic, Ryanair 2245 taking off runway 27.
And there we are. So we need to wait for the APU just to kick in, as we've no external power available. Yeah, it wasn't the best landing I've done. As I say, there were a couple of little bugs crept in, the winged it, but we recovered nicely. We dropped well below the glide slope with that descent rate as it pushed down a little bit. But again, it's something that the more you fly in FS2020, the more you almost get used to the quirks of the simulator. You know what's going to happen. So as long as you know there's the potential for that, then you can be ready. So with that, we can get the passengers' seatbelts off. I'm just waiting for the APU to kick in, then I can shut the engines down. APU is now available. Wonderful. And so let's get the engines off. Lucas, what setup? What setup do you mean? What specs or what hardware am I using to actually fly with? As it's oh, hang on. Let's get the doors open. So in the with the actual setup, what we have is I'm using a side stick. Just an all normal joystick side stick, nothing special with it. We do have the SciTech flight yokes, the thrust yokes. I've forgotten what they call them. Thrust levers. So if yeah, it's the SciTech one, which actually comes with the flight yoke, but I don't use the flight yoke when flying an Airbus because that's not very realistic. But yeah, so nothing fancy, certainly nothing fancy at all. There are far better setups out there than this, but than mine. But realistically, it's all you need to do what I need to do. I've also got a twin screen as well, so if I'm not flying online, I put the two twin screens on, and it looks fabulous because I'm in a darkened room as well, so that really adds to the immersion. Have we got any ground services here at Bristol? No. Oh, well, that's nice. No ground services means the passengers are sleeping on the aircraft overnight. Alright, so with that, the passengers are now departing, deboarding. I can unlock the cockpit door and shut down the aircraft for the evening. We'll obviously not turn everything off until the passengers have disembarked, but oh, that's a shame. We can't just dim the screens gently. Are they turning off fully? Oh well, never mind. There we go. Lovely. So, all in all, not a bad flight at all. Shame we didn't have any ATC on the way into Luton, but hey ho, that's the way VATSIM goes sometimes. For those of you watching that are thinking of taking VATSIM, having a go, you won't regret it. I guarantee you won't regret it. And once you've done it, you'll definitely never go back. Check out a couple of the videos on the YouTube channel. That will certainly help you with VATSIM, and just watch some of the live streams that have been done with VATSIM if you want to get the hang of that. Please as well, if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. There's always live streams on this channel, and tutorial after tutorial as well. So thank you, Livy, great to see you again, and hope everything's good for you in New Jersey. Like to see you all again soon next time. As I say, please do hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and be great to see you again next time we're flying. Good night.